Now, since we've gotten your pitcher to understand what the rolling of the ball feels like off the fingers from the basketball drill or whatever you've used for that, we're going to move into what we call the quick wrist snap. But before we do that, I think it's important at this point in time to make sure that your pitcher has the correct grip. Now, obviously, if they're into throwing rise balls, drop balls, and curve balls, and all the different pitches that are out there, they're going to have different grips, but the basic essential part that's going on will be the same. What I'm going to do is take a ball and just show you. You can call it lots of different things, but with my pitchers, we call them horseshoes. If you look at them this way, if I turned it end over end, we'd be able to count 4 horseshoes on the ball. It does not matter if it opens to this side or to this side. All we need to make sure is that we've got fingers, tips on one seam right here where the ball is resting all the way in those fingers into the pad of the hand with the thumb down on that other seam if we can do it, hopefully lined up with the middle. Now keep in mind, I have large hands, so if you have smaller pitchers, don't panic if the ball's back in here or back in here for their thumb, but you want to ideally get them to touch that next seam if you can so the ball is completely in the seam marks. You don't have to use 2 or 3 or 4 fingers, whatever is comfortable for you. Some throw it with 2, some throw it with 3. I have large hands and I still throw basically with 3 or 4 fingers, however you want to look at it. Notice on my grip too how there's a big air pocket in my hand right here. That's real important. We don't want the ball setting back in the palm because that's actually called a palm ball or a palm change, excuse me. And by doing that, you're taking speed off the ball, which is not what we're trying to accomplish here. What we're trying to accomplish is the basic mechanics so a pitcher can develop from a fastball on up into rise, drop, curve, and change. So your hands are across that horseshoe, thumbs down on that other seam if they can, preferably lined up with the middle finger. Doesn't have to be, but that's ideally what we want. Okay, the air pocket not sitting in the back. And we're going to move right into that, what we call the quick snap drill. And by doing that, you can use lots of different balls. You can use a regular ball. You can take this regular ball and put duct tape around it or draw a line around it, whatever you'd like to put around it, just so that you have that line so your pitcher can start getting familiar with watching a spin. The best thing for that, not only does your pitcher get to watch the spin, but you get to actually see where and how that ball's coming off. And let me show you with it. All you're going to do is stand with your arm out to the side right here and have them put their hand on this other arm. It's important that the elbow is slightly in front of the hip. If it gets down here by the hip, they get to where they lock it, and that's not what we want because the elbow's not locked during a pitch. Out here in front, it's nice and relaxed in here, and all they're doing is concentrating on wrist snap and just have them snap it to themselves, okay? And they'll get better and better in watching the wrist snap. Now what I'm going to do is just substitute balls here because now you can see we have blue and white and it will rotate end over end so that you can actually watch, and it would be the same thing as if you had tape on it. Now you'll see lots of pitchers start doing this and you're going to have different rotations on it, but you want to feel that ball stay in the fingertips, or not fingertips, but fingers as long as possible. Be careful not to say fingertips because a lot of your young pitchers will literally put the ball on their fingertips as opposed to rolling off of those fingers. And you'll just sit there and flip it back and forth. A great thing for a coach to do also in this drill is not let the other pitcher or the pitcher put their hand on, but you actually put your hand on there so that all they're concentrated on is a quick, firm wrist snap.